Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Rise and Grind with 72 the Architect. I'm Jason B. And today we're going to talk about walking through the forest and what does that mean? Many people are having really difficulties in navigating a lot of different spaces. And today's really going to be about how we actually do that. Are we really conscious of what we use as good discerning tools versus bad ones and our processes? And are we really getting the results? So, just to get into it, and today really was an organized show, but I really feel that it's important to kind of understand what is really at stake. I have definitely gone through in the last couple of weeks some really life altering moments where they taught me, where I was educated, where I thought exactly how I wanted to live. And hold on a second. Whoops. Sorry about that. I had something pop up on my screen and all of a sudden it clicked in my audio doubled anyway. But there's an example of the interruptions, sometimes things that we don't really count on. Anyhow, so, with that being said, I really wanted to tune in to just how we navigate through space. How we use all these different experiences, our teachers, our parents, our friends, name it, what have you. Do we really think about how valuable the lessons have really been all through the years? And then we get into social constructs, how to navigate being a parent, how to navigate to being a business person, or how to navigate relationships. And there were quite a few instances where I had come across some things that I personally faced. And what did I really do in that experience? And I feel like my journal really revealed a lot of my past to me, to what's actually what makes up right now. Because all that matters is just right now. You can't never fix the past. You can't never fix things that never worked for you before, but you can really make adjustments now. Now, when I read the Daily Stoic today, it basically said, walk the long gallery of the past, of empires and kingdoms succeeding each other without a number. And you can also see that the future, for they surely will be exactly the same, unable to deviate from the present rhythm. It's all whether we've experienced 40 years or an eon. What more is there to see? What more is there to see from Marcus Aurelius's Meditation 7.49? So the question of the day was, will I keep the rhythm of life no matter the interruption? I think it's very important to really think about that and what that really represents. But I also looked at Gregory Hayes's his translation of exactly that quote, and it sounds a little different, just a little, but it does have some sort of the same meaning. He says, "Look at the past, empire succeeding empire, and from that exploit exploit the future. The same is the same thing. No escape from the rhythm of events, which is why observing life for 40 years is a good, what does it say? Good as 1,000. Would you really see anything new?" So really, he talks about the optics, right? He talks about how you look at life, how you're actually taking um, what you see now and how you looked at things before. Do you even remember how you looked at things before? And imagine also this: you're in a forest of life, of problems, of things. And imagine, what have you ever been in a forest where you just kind of felt lost? Every direction seems the same. The trees are all the same. Even on my YouTube, the thumbnail for this, it has a guy looking at all the same trees and he's like, wow, which way do I go? And that's where trailblazing is very important. Many of us have forgotten self-reliance. Many of us have forgotten how to trailblaze through our own issues, but yet we want to check in with another. We'll say we need a coach. We say that we need a program. We need to get organized. All these things that we need to do. But did you ever possibly think about how you've used your own past experience to benefit you and to create less self-doubt? Many aspects of life, in my opinion, come with a significant amount of risk. And I said it, yes, risk. And it really matters in the long run because if you don't think about how the risk has really benefited you as opposed to put you in a fearful state and cost you, well, there's going to be two different styles of performance. On one side, stay with the safe. Don't put myself in unnecessary dangers. The other could be saying, well, you know what? I'm not really happy with the situation at hand, and I'm not really happy with the way that things turn out. Maybe it's time to really take an advanced risk and let myself escalate into a better decision point, right? So we can't ignore that. And when I think about all what's taken place in my life, I was like, you know what? I've had the same problems the same way in such a fashion where it's like it's not cool. Sometimes age does really tell you something different. It tells you the maturity is time to grow up. Matter of fact, I was talking to a colleague of mine, and they were saying how they had such a difficult time of dealing with they have ADD or ADHD, Asperger's, I don't know, whatever it was. And constantly through their social media, they're always talking about how this affects me and that I can't find what I want. But I asked him a question. If you'd stop announcing what your disability is and your ability is, what would be the difference? How do you navigate through those spaces? How do you actually look at really what you're looking at clearly? Or are you just stuck in your own mantra, your monologue that you keep telling people, and you're not really getting those results? You may be making a monologue to reassure yourself, to safeguard yourself from the outside attacks. Many of us are afraid of prejudgments. And when we take those prejudgments as the judgment, as the path, sometimes we get more lost than where we started out to be. So, how do we really navigate? How do we really change? And I'm going to talk about that here in just a second of what actually to do with that. And when I look at what I've been able to accomplish, much of it wasn't accomplished with empty thoughts. Much of it was not achieved without an idea of where I've already been. So I know what it feels like to be scared. I know what it feels like to feel lost. Yeah, a time or two I've gotten lost, in a city. Imagine going to San Francisco for the first time and walking and you forgot where you parked your car and you had to navigate like what visual sights did I remember from where I lost it? Well, nowadays we have apps, we have things, we have trackers to put us right back to the place we started. The starting point and the navigation point. Oh, I don't like going down this alley, or I don't like going down the street. It seems dangerous. Sometimes you're gonna have to walk through the dirty parts just to get to the best parts. How I can relate that is I remember one time, I think I was in my late 20s and I was dating a girl where her house looked like it, on the GPS looked like it was gonna be a great area to go to. But I had to drive through probably the one of the worst neighborhoods ever to get to that nice neighborhood. And yeah, then the bad neighborhood was kinda it was rough. You had people looking at you, and I was like, "Please don't stop. Don't give me any inclination to really do anything bad. Let me really, take an evaluation of, like, what I'm doing." But I kept on following the GPS, and I'm like, "Just don't look at anybody." And then after a few blocks, you know, it started getting better and better, and the neighborhood started changing. The atmosphere changed. It felt different. Followed GPS, led it me to the destination, and it was a completely gated and nice neighborhood. But I asked myself, why was it so rough on the outside? Why was it so stressful? Why I hate to say it, but why was the ghetto in front of the nice neighborhood? And this happens all over. But what I had to say is like, okay, what my personal observation, my optics of the situation was, this may not be a safe route. Do I stop myself or do I keep pursuing no matter what? The directions on the map say I need to get to this destination. No matter what, whatever I encounter, I'm going to adapt and adjust, but long as I'm keeping focused and forward on that destination. And that's hard for a lot of us, honestly. We want to create that, a surety for ourselves. We want to know that the decision we're going to make is the best one. So here's how we navigate. Number one, be aware of your emotional observations. That's right. How do you feel about something right from the get go? Really looking at things carefully. Look at how you're going to navigate, not to be offended, not to be stopped, but it's like, I am going to face some difficulty. So, what can I really accept? Or, you know what? I may have to navigate through this rough neighborhood, or I may have to rough it through this rough part of the forest. Maybe I have to climb over a few boulders, and maybe I have to, chop a few branches down to see clearly to get to the right path. It's gonna happen, and you're gonna have to start trusting yourself. So that's the next big part of all of this. Do absolutely your best to start building a relationship to trust yourself, right? I think it's very important. One of the things I lacked in early parts of my life was the lack of trust in myself. I had to bolster, I had to promote false things, even though I was scared like hell inside. And it's okay to be scared. It's okay to not feel like you don't belong. You're going to have to really choose, is it just my feelings, or is it really the situation that's put me in danger? Many times it's your feelings, your interpretations, your impulses. So this which leads on to my next point. Make sure that what your destination is worth traveling for, you know? Like, hey, the end result when I get there, when I get to do this thing, I'm gonna literally be a whole lot better, you know? And sometimes it's gonna be rough. So to my colleague, I would say, I've said to him, "Hey, you know what? You kept on producing the same social media context and you really didn't go forward because you keep announcing to people what's wrong with you. You think that people are gonna care?" One of the things it has a mixed review. I would say keep your what you suffer from as minimal as possible from sharing with others, unless you're making it your niche in performance. Like there are some people that make podcasts and TikToks and YouTube based on attention deficit disorder or Asperger. There are people that specialize in that. But if you use it as a crutch, well, you know what? I'm single and I just can't find a real person. And then you blame your ADHD for not being able to sort out the right kind of people. Well, maybe the work needs to be done on what you say and you tell yourself internally. Maybe the work that you need to do is really focused on how can I look at the world as a grand and beautiful thing, you know? A lot of us in our interpretations, we view the world as so small. The options are so limited, and that's where fear really attacks us. So which reaches my critical point. Never let the fear get to critical mass so that it blocks your vision, so that it blocks where you want to be, where your imagination is going to take you, where you believe in success, right? There's many roads to getting to success, but the thing that comes along with it is that how you're actually going to see yourself follow through. Many of us think about the goal, but we don't calculate the price and the cost, or we overwhelmingly over leverage the cost to talk ourselves out of our greatest opportunities. It's been mentioned in so many books, so many times. And I just recently purchased, as an example, I purchased The Richest Man in Babylon and by George S. Clason. And what I really like about this particular story, I've just only read three or four, going to the fourth chapter. These two guys asked their rich friend, like, "Hey, man, you're like the richest guy. How did you get to where you're at? How did you do it?" And he just kind of looked over at him and he says, we started all at the same, you know, we started out in school together. We did a lot of things together, you know, but what I did differently is I started asking questions in my youth while we're in school to where I want to be. And I had to think about the destination. And so I went and found a mentor and asked him, how do I get to that destination? How do I get to that place where I'm going to be? You know, let's see. So give me a brief moment of a break. Hey, Jason, let's see what my friend says. Lulu, hey, good to see you. Hey, Jason, just stopped by and stopped in already, and it's much needed. I needed to trust myself more. Absolutely. Building the trust with yourself is the most important thing. So anyway, so getting back to the story, what was very important was the rich guy says, I'm glad you've asked me that question. We started out the same. We dealt with a lot, but I needed to go seek to be in the place of where I wanted to be. I needed to put down the things that I was playing with and preoccupying my time. And he says, I started asking the right questions and then I had to put in the right work. And once I started feeling an attraction to the direction of place I wanted to be in, I started working with that. I started mentoring and getting, mentored into the place and the position I want to be in. I was willing to sacrifice certain things for a period of time and get in the rhythm of things. And once I got in the rhythm, and this is where he kind of talked about, that 10%, whatever you get paid, save 10%. And he didn't mean it just in money. He also means how we pay ourselves in our attention, our time, our emotions. Our emotions can get out of hand if we let them. Our emotions can put us in a really difficult place. And that's where it's taxing. And it seems like, wait a second, how can I stop myself really with all that? So the rich guy goes and tells him, like, I started getting in the practice of doing things that I normally didn't do. So maybe for my colleague and friend who's a feeling it's so hard to be a single parent and dating in your 40s. It's hard being single at any point, I would tell you. And it's your optics, it's your illusion. How you look at yourself, just what? Because you don't have a certain part of youth or a certain part of maturity, maybe you're undeveloped, maybe allowing yourself not to judge yourself so harshly may be the big key. Because I'll be honest with you, no one wants to know about your neurodiversity right off the bat when they meet you. They don't want to know, like, are you too much drama? Are you gonna be too much work that I'm gonna have to deal with? You know? They want to know people are nowadays it's like, what kind of money you make? Are you stable? Do you have good living? And these, yes, are valid questions, but showing class and charm and character really lead the way about how you navigate it, how you actually accept yourself before others accept you. Because that's where we get self esteem from. Our confidence is really a derivative from the practices that we put into it, the beliefs, the trust. How many times people have said, well, be your authentic you, be in your organics, be honest. Well, I can tell you, I've lived very dishonest at points in my life. And when I started living honestly, my peers and people that were around me didn't like it so much. They're like, can I really trust you? Can I really do this? And I'm like, that's going to have to be a decision on yourself. I trust me. I'm going to get through this because it's important enough for me. So to my colleague, I just said, hey, you know what? Maybe if you stop posting the same shit and start promoting the right kind of things that you really want to be in, maybe you might find out a different result. And that's the thing is a lot of us don't know how to navigate through our troubles based on we're afraid to take the risk, right? I've been afraid to take risks. Um, my partner asked me, she asked me, babe, why did you work so long for this company? Why did you give so much of your time? And I didn't really give her a response. What I ended up doing was kinda navigating around it. I was like, I'm not ready honestly, I was not ready to talk about it. I'm still not ready to talk about it. There is always a method to my madness because when I need my sobriety of my thought, I really make sure that what I'm going to do is on firm footing, and that's very difficult. Sometimes there's places where you're going to step where it feels wobbly, but no matter what, my mind right now really articulates the steps I need to take, the distractions I need to sort out. If people are in a high vibration or a low vibration, how do I walk in between it all? How do I walk in the balance? And that's really what this show's all about, navigating your balance through any situation. I'm not an expert in this, but I definitely am someone to be clear, to be open about it, and how it makes a daily difference in my life. I've been able to really get in tune with my emotions, and they're not all concrete. They're not all like rock solid, but I'm willing to accept and adjust of how the uncomfortable feeling, settles in and not let it talk me out of doing the best things, believing in yourself, you know, because there's nothing worse when you get lost and really lost. Try imagine getting lost in a forest. How and what are you going to do? Are you going to cry? No one's there out to hear you. Are you going to wait for the elements to take you? You may be too weak when you really can start saving yourself. So be careful of the words that you announce to others and the conditions. Be mindful of the daily practices. If you're teaching yourself self-reliance, that's great. But remember that people are there to assist you, help you, and they're always interested in their own causes, but there are generally good people out there that will assist you and help you get better. And this comes in the last final point. Now, many of us talk about how to be accountable, and I think that's very important, but being accountable, comes from the accounting principles, what you keep a ledger on, good, bad, in between, or yet to be discovered. Then you got to deal with depreciation. That's no accident. Many of us do really need to take an evaluation, a daily evaluation of our efforts. And when we do this, it's not to stop us to make in the middle of our day to change everything up. It just means like, look, when I write in my journal and morning reflection and evening reflection, you know, I definitely appreciate how I can really take time in deciding for myself, and it's a secure moment. You know, I take time to evaluate what matters to me because when I look at my 5-year-old, I look at my 15-year-old, my 26-year-old, those are my three girls. They are my gold. I need to be the role model that not only they can support, but they can rely on. And there's times I haven't been that, but now I truly trust myself. Let's see, Anthony Sadler. Hey, dude, what's up, Ant Capone? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Anyhow, getting back to it, being able to navigate through your forest means building your self-reliance, announcing less of the problems, but looking at problems as the solutions. They're assets to you in the long run. And that's very difficult for a lot of us. So take your time. Like I said, evaluate your decision, look at your emotions. They may be treating you improperly. Your emotions may be disproportionate in illusions. Give yourself time, give yourself some space, give yourself enough breathing room in your own body. It doesn't matter the environment, in your own body, in your own mind. You've got to control that. And when we look at that and we really treat that as our best asset, guess what? We really go forward. All right. Well, I have a speaker who wants to come on. Ali, I'll let you come on up for a minute because I'm getting ready to close the show real quick. And I appreciate when he comes up. I've talked on his shows live on Wisdom. So 3, 2, 1. Good morning, Ali. How you doing this morning? What do you want to add?
No, I just wanted to say what's up, Jason. Damn. I
Yeah.
didn't need no I didn't need anything. I just want to say what's up, man. That's just it, man. I was just saying what's up and stopping by just to say what's up in peace.
Nice.
And look at how we navigate through life. Wow. You trying to help these people navigate, man. You're so awesome. Hey man, I wanted to ask you a question real quick.
Sure.
You're a lawyer, right?
Well, yeah, let's not talk about that right now. No, sorry. I'm not going to answer any questions about legal or anything like that live on air.
No,
Yeah.
not no. No, I just wanted to know that you are a lawyer. Well, I'll hit you in the back channel then.
Yeah. So anyhow, and the
I'll
reason
hit
why
you in
I'm
the
saying
back
because I'm
channel.
also producing live on YouTube. So that's why
Oh,
if
true indeed,
yeah.
true indeed, true indeed, true indeed. No, I don't want you to get in trouble. But like I said, yo, everybody follow Jason B, man. He's the man, bro. And I just wanted to say, hey, man, that was it, brother.
Yeah,
That
thank
was
you. I
all.
appreciate it. Yeah, any legal stuff, I don't talk about it on the air too much. I keep it
No, as you
yeah.
should,
Yeah.
as you shouldn't. You just give your perspective,
Mhm.
and that's your profession, and that's it. No, I
Yeah.
get it. All right, brother.
Man, thanks for coming
All right,
up though.
man.
I do
Well, stay up.
appreciate your stuff. So
Word.
yeah, we'll see you. We'll
All
see you
right,
next
man.
time, man. Have a good one.
All right, brother. Peace.
Peace. Okay. Anyhow, getting back to my closing points, and that I'm producing also live on YouTube and Facebook as well as on the Wisdom app. And I'm very clear about, what I do for a living is separate from this show. And working in the legal profession has its attachments. So all I can tell you is right now, I really focus in on what I'm doing here. So anyway, getting back to what I was saying, walking through the forest, um, and you have to really create your self-confidence and your trust and to create a rhythm in yourself to navigate through different spaces. Yeah, and that's the thing is navigating through those spaces means sometimes you got to just shut up, listen, be aware, have your clear vision, understand the terrain. A lot of times like what's that phrase? If you're too close to the trees, you can't see the forest, right? Well, sometimes stepping back may give you a peripheral view. Oh, I see a clearing. Or maybe, you know what, through this obstacle, I'm going to cut through. And it might be difficult, it might exhaust you, but in the long run, you have to be able to decide that it's worth going through. Who you want to become is going to come with a lot of difficulties, consequences, costs, right? It comes with bigger things than you realize. Maybe you're not even prepared, but that's okay. We're not prepared for every single situation. So, like I was trying to say in my closing points, be aware, a situation aware, being able to calm yourself. Don't sit there, curl up and cry and complain to everybody and hoping that people are going to um, really help you out. But if you ask people, you ask for assistance, hey, I'm having a little trouble with this. I know that you have the experience to do so. What can you say? Ask them the right questions. Be cool with who you are. You know, you don't have to be the baddest or the smartest guy in the room. You don't have to be the toughest guy in all places. You can be a human being. You can be relaxed. So, anyhow, that's all the time that I have for Rise and Grind today. Thank you all for coming out. I have to get going. I have a doctor's appointment in about 15 minutes. So if you liked, make sure that you subscribe and like. Check out my YouTube station, 72 the Architect. Today's episode's called Walking Through the Forest. And tune in. Hopefully on Wednesday, I'll be able to produce more content. We'll see you all then. Take care.